Just a moment. Okay, you're live.
Thank you. All right, everybody, welcome to the July 28th meeting. I guess I will read our preamble so you can all relax while I do. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, GLC 30A, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Southborough Historical Commission will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Town of Southborough's website. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to listen to the meeting may also do so in the following manner. Going to southboroughtown.com/remote meetings. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on Southborough's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. So I guess we'll call the meeting to order at 6:06. And the first item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from June 28th, 2020. Does anyone have any changes to them they'd like to make?
None.
No. I make a motion to approve the minutes from June 28th.
Seconded.
There we go. Treasurer's report is next.
Okay, so June 30th was the end of the fiscal year. So based on our decision at our last meeting, we did purchase ahead of time, I believe it was five signs from the gentleman, the artisan in Rhode Island, to use for the future. And then we did decide that it left us just over $40, which I sent an email to Heidi Lindsay, the town accountant, and let her know that, especially due to the pandemic and potential budget crunch as a result of that we would like to give back that $40. So that was taken care of. So now we are in a new budget cycle and we have $2,500. And I just spent $99.99 of it. I just paid our first internet bill. And of course, I continue to ask questions about if there's a way for us to get a reduced rate on that or somehow get connected with the town's internet, and that some emails have been sent to Board of Selectmen, Tom LaFlame with IT, and it's just been so busy, as you can all imagine, with coordinating all the Zooms with the pandemic. I haven't gotten any feedback on that, but I can promise you that I will continue to try to figure that out, because it ends up being $1,200.
Yeah, that's kind of a lot.
Yeah,
part of our budget. So
that is, that's too much.
Yeah. So, but as of now, that is it. I've just paid that, so we're in good shape. That's all I've got for payables. Yep, that's it.
Kate, question?
Yes, sir.
You said that we anticipated to have some budget trimming, that the 25 might be cut back. Is that happening still, or what do you know about that?
There's nothing that I know of at this point. Our budget is still just $2,500, as far as I know. I believe the worst case scenario was gonna end up maybe being a $60 cut, but I do not believe that has that has changed at this point. I believe that we still are at $2,500.
Thank you.
Sure.
And almost half of that goes to internet access.
It does. Yeah, it is. It's a lot. It's just gone up a ton. It's just gone up a lot. And then the only other, at least I can account, like I know how to plan for it, right? Because it's the $1,200. Then the only other bill that we do always pay is the water bill. And we just pay the minimum of that.
That should be real.
So that's not a big deal, but like I said, I'm just I'm trying to see what I can do.
Yeah, great.
Just get that internet down a bit, just to give us a little bit more room with some money in case we have some bigger projects going forward.
Okay.
Well,
that's it. Next item is the request for a bond release for 84 Main Street.
Can I just interrupt for a sec?
Sure.
Sorry, did you vote by roll call for the minutes?
Oh, thank you for letting us know that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so every vote by roll call and you're good to go.
Okay,
thank you for the reminder. I should know that too.
All right, roll call for the approval of the minutes. Kate Battles.
Yes.
Amanda Gleason.
Yes.
Jim Blaschke.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Rebecca Deans-Rowe. Okay. Get that.
So our vote is all set. I just am looking, Sam Stivers is here and he just commented in the chat and he said, and thank you, Sam, he's followed up on the connection for the town network and Tom is working on it, but the funding of about $2,500 for this depends on how a couple of other projects turn out. And Sam said he'll continue to follow up on that. Thank you, Sam. I really appreciate that.
Yes, thank you. All right. So as you all know, we received a letter from Mr. Pizzoni, who's the attorney for John Della Priscoli, regarding the Burnett House and the preservation restriction and specifically the release of the bond for the preservation restriction. It's a formal request that they be placed on the agenda for us to vote on this. Did you all receive the letter and read it?
Yes.
Okay. So I think that the thing to do is to bring Mr. Della Priscoli in and let him tell us about the progress on the project. And then we take it from there. That sound good?
Sounds great.
Wait, I don't see him now. Or it is already. There he is. Okay. Hi, John.
He looks like he's muted.
I'm asking to unmute him.
Is that all right?
Hi.
Hi, how's everybody?
Doing okay.
How are you?
So this is my first solo webinar or start my videos. Is that the co-host of Start My Video? Is that what you want me to do?
If you want to, it's up to you.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's better.
Hello, John.
Hi, how are you? So I'm home nursing I have to have knee surgery.
Oh.
I'm walking around with crutches on the job and everywhere. I mean, it's driving me crazy, you know. But so that's what I'm struggling with these days.
Sorry to hear that.
Not to mention, but as far as the house in the Deerfoot project, you know, I at this point, the reason for the request is, number one, is I've gone above and beyond on many other aspects of this project that I've put a ton of money into, the gardens and everything else. And I put over $25,000 just into the 3 beech trees, the 2 monumental beech trees. And I just want the board to understand, I've done a lot of things that were never enumerated in any of this stuff. And I continue to, you know, basically blow my brains out over there and make sure everything is beyond perfect. You know, like with the restoration, I don't know if you've seen the caliber of the work on the carriage house, but, you know, I mean, you know, there's like $8,000 just in copper sheets I had to buy. And, you know, I mean, just it just goes on and on and on. But regardless, I took the project on, I'm finishing it, and I'm very, very far along. But I'm in the middle of estate planning right now, and I need to clean up loose ends. And, you know, I think it would be very appropriate that the bond be released. It was already reduced down to 150 or something, and I'd like to get that so I can get that off because I want to get that clear, the title on the property. And this is something we discussed, and the prior chairman, Joe, had no issue with it, but this goes back a few months, then COVID and everything else, and everything kind of went sideways, you know? So I'm just trying to clean it up. You know, we've done, I don't know if you saw the work we did along the waterway. I don't know what any people have seen or not seen, but we did get, to credit Peter credit, we were able to get permission from both the conservation and the DCR to finally fix the problem I've struggled with since I've owned this house, which is all the invasive species physically removed and replaced with the original. If you look at the original late 19th century photographs, you'll see that now the property looks identical to that.
Yeah. With the riprap. You're talking about with the riprap?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hold on one second.
Sure.
Can you just make sure they, yeah, exactly. All right, go ahead. I have just people coming in and out, but go ahead. So anyway, the riprap, and then, but it goes beyond the riprap. At the top of that is going to be some wildflowers and a mix of French lavender all along the top as a break between the lawn and that. It's going to be really stunning.
Gorgeous. That sounds nice.
You know, very, very nice. And some pockets of hydrangeas too. I don't know if you've seen all the stone work. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And the bridge is almost done now. I did my little Monet bridge, and the house is completely just about there. Inside, we're decorating the ceilings, hanging lights, very far along. The carriage house, the exterior is about 90%. The chapel's completed. The gardens are just about done. You know, and then my goal is to have all the site work pretty much wrapped up this fall. And there's not much left anyway, but all that will be taken care of. And then I'll be working on the details and decorating in the interior through the winter, and then probably roll out, you know, get an occupancy permit sometime in the early spring. That's kind of where it's at.
So you said that obviously the chapel's complete and it looks wonderful. The carriage house is 90%. Can you tell me what's left to be done on that?
Well, what's left there is a little bit of siding on the front. We're doing the access, and we got the, and then of course some of the interior obviously is still, but you know, for what it's worth, I don't know if I may have explained this in the past, but the entire interior, the entire floors of that building had to be removed. I had to suspend the roof with I-beams and recreate the middle of that building. That building cost me several, I mean, it was, the building by all rights should have been demolished and replicated, but that wasn't what I agreed to. So I went and I basically rebuilt it and kept the whole, because the building was 8 inches out, the walls were 8 inches out, and the roof was down 12. So it was collapsing. So I lifted the roof, brought the walls in, and rebuilt the entire inside of that with all modern timbering, and got rid of all the stuff that was all rotted and falling apart and collapsing.
Amazing.
It's a good thing we caught this when we did, because I don't think the chapel or that building would be standing right now had I not come along.
Yeah.
Just by nature, I mean.
Yeah, yeah, it's demolition by neglect.
Well,
yeah. Can you tell me on the house if there's any exterior? The interior, as you know, is not really our, I mean,
well, the exterior is, I'm adding the, which wasn't part of the original scope anyway, but I'm adding the little French
atrium
there, and that's being fabricated now. I mean, it's all the foundations all in there. It's all stone veneered. All that's done.
So the I mean, sort of I think with regard to the preservation restriction,
all the windows are done. I mean, all the trees, I put a ton of money into those trees. I had specialists come in 2 different, well, actually Michael Weishan recommended one guy. I used him, and then, you know, they kind of all traveled together. So then I got this guy that does the fertilizing, and so we did some heavy duty pruning, what's called air spading. I did an awful lot of work on those trees. I mean, way beyond the scope of anything that you can imagine. And it cost a fortune, but, you know, those are obviously monumentals. So those have to be, you know, taken care of. So, you know, that with the gardens and so on. The
primary work on the exterior of the house.
Primary work was done. I mean, all the masonry windows, all the doors, the glass, lighting. I mean, there's been electricians there for 3 years, you know.
Yeah.
It's all there. I mean, all the lighting is period. It's all done. I mean, I don't know if you noticed this, but this wasn't listed anywhere. I mean, there's 50 real gas lamps that are going to be along the driveway. There's over 50 of actual gas lamps, not electric, gas.
Wow.
So that's all installed. I mean, they're not on yet, but they're all plumbed, and some are erected, and there's a few more to go, but they're all on site. I mean, there's a lot of things I went way beyond on. There's gates there for the back entry. You know, I mean, it's way, way, way beyond anything that you guys, you know, had really memorialized. So I just, as a courtesy, I'd like to get released. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree you've gone way beyond, and it's quite remarkable. So our role, as I understand it, is to, you know, determine whether the work listed in the PR is complete. And from what I can tell from what you said, there's maybe 10% more on the carriage house exterior to do.
Yeah. Keep in mind on the carriage, not to interrupt, Rebecca, but on the carriage house, when I stripped off this, if you guys remember, there were shingles on that, like red cedar shingles at one time. Mm-hmm. When that was taken off, I could see all the original imprints of where the original trim was. What I put up there is replicating what was there in 1860. Oh. Not what was there when I took the house, because that was modified somewhere around 1900 or something. But I brought it back to the original. That wasn't, you know, all I had to do was shingle it. That would have been, you know, a tenth the cost. Yeah. But I brought it back to exactly what it should be.
That looks gorgeous.
So, I mean, from a value perspective, you have greatly exceeded whatever's in there. And I think you know me well enough to know that, you know, we're there every day. So, you know, I want to get it wrapped up. I have, you know, I got to get started on the next one, which is Fayetteville.
I think one thing we might need to do is just to circle back with Aldo and say, if it's 90% complete, is that okay? And
well, I wouldn't frame it. I wouldn't frame it as 90%. I'd say it's based on the original scope. It's way beyond it,
right?
From a value perspective, which is what this is supposed to reflect.
I think we could make a case for that.
So for the economics, you're like 10 times over what it would have been.
Yeah.
John, this is Jim, and it's nice to see you again. I live nearby, and I go by the home often, and it's been very impressive to see the detail. I'm a kind of a perfectionist myself, but you top anything I've ever done by far. My point about this, Rebecca, is that, and just to reflect what John's saying, is that the level of expenditure here is probably an order of magnitude more than the bond ever was.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Not if we want to quantify that in rough numbers or rough value, John, but I think that would be a way to put it. Look, we've way gone past the original.
I would tell you more than that. I would say, you know, I wish it was the bond amount. The masonry alone on the exterior was over 500,000.
So I'm not sure if our role is to look at the fiscal, you know, the whole, the value or the expenditures, or just to look at the PR and say, this is done. This is, you know, all very, very, very close to being done. And that's what I would like to check with Aldo about. I think that what happens is we will say we will vote on whether we're satisfied with the completion of the work, and then it's up to the town to decide, you know.
Yeah, I think we're required to get town council opinion.
Okay, whatever you guys want to do. I mean, It's fine.
But I want you to know that we are, you know, extremely happy and thrilled with what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
And I recognize what you're saying about how you've gone above and beyond. That's pretty clear. So, you know, we will do our best to get this resolved as quickly as we can. We meet again on August 18th. And I think
just send me a text or something, or
okay.
And then let me know, what Aldo says or something.
Yeah, and then we'll take our vote and get it done.
Okay.
But
in the meantime, I'll keep plugging along.
Okay.
And John, I actually walk by every day, and so I've really been enjoying watching the whole progress. It is spectacular. So, and I can be in touch with you as well from whatever we hear.
Did you walk through the rose garden yet?
I have not just walked on, but I have in the past. But if I see you, I'll
right. I wouldn't go on the property, but I would say maybe it would be lovely if we could have a tour of it and
sure, anytime.
Check it off as done.
It is breathtaking. Those roses are breathtaking, and all that gardening over on that water side.
Yeah,
I run by there. I will say those crouching statues over by the pond gave me a bit of a jump one night when I was running by. The light was dim and I couldn't see what it was, and I was like, "Is that a deer?" And then
No, there's a lot of nice early statuary and things.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful.
Yeah, super.
The labor of love, no doubt.
No doubt.
Yeah, we're lucky.
You have to be a little crazy, which I am. But my wife and I are having a great time doing it.
So people are asking me quite frequently what the plan is for the property.
Well, right now the plan is going to be to finish it and decorate it and then see what we're going to do. My most likely, I think, I've really fallen in love with it, so I think I'm probably going to move in it.
Nice.
Yeah. So and then I got to experience it. I mean, come on, after all.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. So we'll see.
All right.
Most of my business is in Metro West or in greater Middlesex or Worcester County and down towards Franklin, basically from Franklin north up to Marlborough is really where most of my stuff is concentrated, with a couple exceptions. So it's I do a lot of driving. I was just looking at my car and it's 55,000 miles a year, and I'm getting tired of that. It's probably what screwed up my legs.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But anyway, so I'll wait to hear from you. Okay.
Yes, and I will get back to you very soon, and I appreciate everything.
I really appreciate it. Thanks, and thanks for all the support. And I hope you like the way we did that. I took forever to get those permits to do the slopes, but now those invasive species are gone. And
absolutely.
And that if you look at those early photographs from the state when they did the reservoir, you have them on file there, I think. Now it's starting to look like. Imagine what the people looked like back then. That's what you're seeing today.
Yeah. I think it's terrific.
It's spectacular.
I'm glad that the town was willing to work with us on that. It was in DCR. They finally saw the light.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for all the support.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. Good to see you.
All right,
Bye.
Take care.
Okay. So to follow up, I will I'll send a note to Aldo, a form. We have to go through, the town and ask for an opinion, given the level of work that has been done and whether we can factor in also the additional. I don't think it should be a problem.
Right. From my reading, it's our purview is the actual main house, the carriage house, and the chapel.
Yes, that's what it looks like to me too.
And it's when I've walked by often, it does look like there's very little left on the carriage house. I wasn't involved, so I don't know if the atrium off the back of the main house is in our purview, but I don't think it is. So
no, I think the idea is restoring and stabilizing the main exterior of the house, which
that's my understanding from reading the PR, and I've read it a couple of times this week. So think that it's a really important step that we get town council opinion and then move forward from there.
Yeah.
So you don't mind sending that request to Aldo?
No.
Great.
Should we vote our support on that?
I don't know if we need to vote to request for town council opinion, but I'm not an expert on that. I'm not sure.
I meant just in terms of process. It's just indicating whether our group is in full, support of it.
Yeah, in support of the release, you think?
Yes.
Do you want to vote on the release now or after we hear back from?
I think we should wait to hear back from town council.
Because I'm not sure we can vote without knowing, what if 90% on the carriage house is not good enough, and it has to be 100%. We need to know that, right?
Right. It is what it is. Yeah. Yeah. I think we just need
whether it makes sense or not.
Right.
From a practical perspective.
Because I wasn't in, 3 of us at least were not involved with the creation of the PR either. I think Rebecca, you were on the commission, but perhaps weren't.
I didn't work on the PR though.
Right. So I think we should wait on any kind of voting until we just hear from town council.
Okay.
In my opinion.
So my feeling would be we would vote on the 18th. And
yes, agreed.
We have about an hour we have only an hour for that meeting. So we'll have the hearing on 15 Main and then a very quick business meeting, which this Excellent. Might be the only thing on the agenda.
Excellent.
Great. Get that done.
Super.
So the next item is the application to join the commission from Mr. Michael Wyson. And whether we should send a letter of support to the Board of Selectmen before he goes before them to answer questions. And I think that is something we can vote on, whether we are all agreeing that it would be very helpful to have Mr. Wyson back on the commission. Does anybody want to discuss that at all?
I'm in support.
I have, yeah, I will. I'll say a few things. I will say, so it's been over 2 years since Michael was on the commission. I think he has abundant knowledge and expertise. And I think the commission tends to be a bit of a niche commission that perhaps prevents people from joining or applying to be on it. I just know that in the time that I've been on it, it's been a struggle to get our membership up, and with just the 4 of us, quorum can be a real challenge. So certainly, I think that some of his knowledge would be an asset. But I'd also like to take that opportunity to also structure the way that we communicate as a committee, as a commission. And so I know it's a little bit later in the agenda, but with that in mind, I would later in the agenda like to propose that we have all of our communications go through the secretary. So that's it. That's all I have.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So let's take a quick vote on the letter for Michael. We can move on to the, or do you want to just move that up right now and talk about the commission communication review process?
It's in Michael. I think we can vote on Michael's, unless it somehow would determine whether Michael's voted in. Is it related?
Well, no, but all right, let's just vote on Mike.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
it doesn't hold it. It's not going to hold him up, and we do it anyway. So yeah.
So I make a motion to provide a letter of support for the appointment of Michael Wyson to the Historical Commission. Does anyone second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
We have to do a roll call vote, I think.
Roll call vote.
Amanda?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
And I am a yes. So I will do that. Another letter to write. Uh, historic sign program.
Oh, okay. So you guys, I had sent it all. I just wanted to wait till we were at a meeting so that we could just talk about it so that I can just get your verbal approval. Jim and Amanda, yes, I think both of you had given me, I just did a little brief write-up about the sign program. And I just want to put it at this point in my Southborough. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody was on board with that. I didn't know if we needed to vote. I don't know if we needed to vote. I just wanted to make sure that everybody was on board with it. Jim and Amanda did a great job helping me make some edits. The artisan he was so thankful for the business. So he's been paid and he has 5 signs already prepped and painted with all the details except, whatever the date and the house name is for whenever we select people. And once we start getting some interest, then we can sort of decide how we want to go about perhaps, the process of selecting people, if you will. But we did say up to 10 this year. So 5 have already been paid for. And then if we decide that the budget allows and we want to pay for an additional 5, we can certainly go ahead and do that. And I just wanted to get feedback on when people wanted me to ask my Southborough when that could be posted. And if you agree, if everybody's in support of it.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I think it came out nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Great job.
I was thinking that at this point, should I wait until the first week in August, which I realize might be this week.
Yeah.
Or even so, maybe at the beginning of next week, just as people, I don't know how much they read it, or should I wait until after Labor Day? What's everybody's feedback on that?
And you're asking along the lines, Kate, of when will it get noticed and not missed?
September, maybe.
Yeah, maybe wait till September.
And also it's kind of like a nice, it's a nice event to roll out kind of as we, I don't know, head into our.
Yeah, it's like a new year, right? The school year starting allegedly, maybe, who knows? And all right.
I think September is good. I would maybe wait though for mid-September, just because I know.
Yeah.
I think things get lost and everything's going to be so crazy at the beginning of the school year. I think people are really just going to be trying to get their feet under them.
Okay.
Right. I'd wait until things settle down a little bit. Maybe.
There's no rush on it, so I think that's a great idea because I was worried about it just being missed, and I certainly know, I'm sure that that Beth would be flexible if I asked her to repost and all that kind of stuff. But I think it makes more sense to wait till about mid-September. So great, perfect.
What's the means of promotion once it goes up on the site? Is there an email that goes out to everybody? I mean, how does it get noticed?
I was just at this point going to put it on the My Southborough blog, but then I was going to maybe put it on the Historical Society and the Historical Commission websites.
Right, and My Southborough posts to Facebook, so that seems to get a lot of attention too.
Great. And then I do have a big email list from the Holiday House Tour last year too, so I would be, I think that those are sort of the ways that I'll start distributing. But I'm going to probably start with My Southborough.
And I think that's appropriate. Does the town have any kind of an email distribution that it uses?
I don't know if I could use an email distribution, but I do wonder if they would, if I could ask them, they might consider putting it on the front page of the town website, on one of the banners or something. They may be game for that. I was going to say that I'd print it out and hang it, but it's going into the townhouse is still by appointment. So there's probably not a whole lot of bang for my buck there. But I think I could put in a request for the town to put it on their website too. I don't know how that happens. The worst they can say is no. So
moving forward, how do we choose houses? Is there a timeline? Is there a process for, we probably need to.
That I think is what we need to decide.
Right.
And Oh, I think Jim sent a few to me from, right? I think it was Jim, right? You sent me a couple applications from other communities, right?
I
That
had
I
six
could look through.
samples. Yeah, I sent you some samples that I found when I looked for it.
Right.
I think the way you worded it was great, Kate, where you said, please nominate houses.
Yes.
And what that depends on simply is getting enough people to read it. And that's why I was asking about how you promote.
Sure.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm not really sure. I think it might be a matter of waiting to see what the interest level is. And we've said up to 10. And, perhaps once we get a few, we can talk about it at a meeting. And it might be something that we announce on a meeting, or I'm not entirely sure. Some of the other applications that Jim had sent, even their process is a lot more complicated because they were for larger communities, right? We have kind of a limited inventory anyway of people that might come forward, but I wasn't sure yet. And maybe between now and September, I'll sort of look through again the stuff Jim had sent and do a little research and maybe come back with a better plan for how we select the winners, if you will.
And we can nominate people as well, right? As a
I think so. Yes.
For homes,
Any citizen can nominate, I think.
Yeah.
Kate, if you want to have a side working group to think about the application process and getting it distilled down, and B, how to promote this, I'll be happy to support you on it.
That'd be great. I'd appreciate that. So maybe that's the next task, Jim, you and I could work on between now and September. And sort of coming up with a process.
I haven't checked the town website. When is the next town meeting? We know we just had one recently. Is there another one within 12 months, or is it?
There's supposed to be a fall special town meeting, but as of now, no date has been selected. And I do some part-time work here and there for the town clerk, and I don't think they've come up with a date or a plan yet, just because of the ongoing pandemic. So
it's going to be tough because it's hard to do outside.
Yeah, it was so incredibly detailed and complicated. I mean, it was great. It ran really, really smoothly. Me and both Livy and Jack, my teenagers, we all worked at it. It was great. It went really, really well, but it might just be a lot harder to plan in the fall. So I don't know what the plan is at this point. But if there is something, it would be great to be able to promote it a little bit at that too.
That's what I was getting. I was getting on the agenda.
Yeah. So, all right. So food for thought between now and September, Jim.
Okay.
The Historical Society has a Twitter account.
I do know that. So we can post it to the Twitter too. And we have the Historical Society meeting coming up too, I believe. Yeah. So I'll talk with them about it and ask if come September.
Our 12 followers.
Yeah. But our Facebook has a good amount of following, I believe, on the society. Mm-hmm. And same with like the house tour Facebook page. And I keep getting alerts. I don't really do Facebook, and I don't really know how to do it very well, but I keep getting alerts that we continue to get more followers. So yeah, that will be another way to throw the flyer up that way too. So yeah, I will bring it up at our Historical Society meeting as well.
Judging from how the house tour went, I don't think promotion is going to be a problem for you, Kate.
Oh, I hope so.
Did you see that the rec department is doing the free movies over at Neary? Maybe you can get up in front of the movie crowd and promote it.
You can do that. I'll let you go do that. No, thank you.
We just treat it like an AMC movie theater and give them a slide to put up.
Yeah.
Like the newsreel. We'll have the newsreel.
Your phone and.
I'm not. Give them a slide. Say,
Nominate your favorite house.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, we'll make a commercial. Oh, I don't know. But I think it should go well. I think the signs are beautiful, and I always notice them. It's actually I was one of the first to buy the signs when Maria and Mandy had started the program. And then shortly thereafter is when I joined the commission. So I think the sign program is fantastic, and I always give them credit for it. And I just think it's a really nice, it's a really positive thing that we as a commission do. And we don't make profit off the signs, but it's just nice visibility for us too. So I'd really like to work on promoting the signs, obviously. So That's it.
Good.
Okay, the next is a review process for commission communication. I like the idea of having a second set of eyes on everything we send out, just even if we're looking for typos, to make sure it's all
I think
professional.
Sure, it's typos.
Tone sometimes is hard to, you know, we just want to make sure everything is, I think we lost Kate, she froze.
Oh, did you lose me?
You're back.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it makes sense to have it all go through one person, because sometimes things are time sensitive that I have to send out.
Right.
And
Sure.
it's, you know, not fair for Amanda to have to drop everything and review a letter and get, so maybe it should just be another commission member, any other commission member. Can someone take a look at this and do the double check?
I had a really good fourth grade teacher. I find typos and things pretty easily.
What do you think?
I think it's a great idea. I think it's just a good way to make sure that all of our communication is very consistent, that it's representing all of us. I just, you know, and it's the way a lot of other boards and commissions operate too, is that it sort of things go through, you know, a central person or a central process. And I think it's just a good idea. So I'm also in support of it being, I just don't know what the process will be.
I'm wondering about that, whether we can, I don't know if we all use Google Docs, if we can put stuff up there and then have a spreadsheet to say, so-and-so signed off on.
Oh, that's smart.
I think that's a good idea, because we could share it with the whole commission that way. Like if one of us needed to send a communication, we can share it with every member, and then
whoever
hopefully
to check it can check it.
Right. And hopefully some, you know, we'll just all have to try to be conscientious. But in that case, you might even get the support, you know, we might even have more than one other person checking in on it.
Yeah.
Really
that's a
on
great
behalf of the
idea.
commission.
Yeah. Okay.
Smart. I think that's a great idea.
So post correspondence. Do we have you use Google Docs, right, Amanda?
I do.
Your personal?
It is, but we could set up a drive for the commission.
I think that would be the best.
Actually would be good, because it's,
it's
a little much to have it on my personal drive. And I can move all the minutes over there too, which would be good.
I think that's an excellent idea, to have everything in one place and everyone can have access.
Great idea.
And that way you don't have to email the minutes. You can.
Right. And then you'll have access to all the documents, but like I've had to email you documents recently, or share them with you. But if we just have it all on a shared drive, then you can just go in and find it.
Right.
I do know that both planning board and master planning, because I take the minutes for them, they do that. They have a shared drive. So then, you know, whenever anybody, including the public, with some of them, I think needs to access, and they have them, you know, under a file for that meeting, whichever documents perhaps we used. And we don't use a lot of that stuff, but I think that's a really smart idea for us to do that. Good plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Rules and regulations. I've saved the hardest one for 11.
Oh.
Rules and regulations for demolition delay bylaw. When we come up against questions, like with the recent property at 15 Main, concerning, you know, who has to be at the public hearing, does it have to be the owner on record, et cetera, et cetera. There are, you know, there are details that Aldo feels that we could iron out in some additional rules and regulations.
Rebecca, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
Sure.
Should we vote on the communication thing?
Should we vote?
Do we need to?
I think we should vote.
Okay.
All right.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to have interrupted you.
That's okay.
But don't you think we should vote on that and have that as an official vote for how we communicate as a commission?
You're correct. Who wants to make a motion on communication review process?
I can make a motion.
Okay.
I make a motion that the Historical Commission, we establish a shared Google Drive so that all communication that goes out is reviewed by at least one other member of the commission. Is that our plan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I say
Great.
All right, I'll take the roll call. Jim Blaschke.
yes.
Amanda Gleason.
Yes.
Kate Battles.
Yes.
Rebecca Deans Rowe. Yes. Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
Okay, back to the
yeah.
So this is going to be quite a process, I think, which we kind of just need to begin planning and try to get in place, I think, over the next few months to look through, maybe to look at some issues that have come up over the last year or so with demo delay that maybe could have been clarified better in the bylaw, and we can look to clarify them in the rules and regulations. So I think we all need to kind of read through the bylaw, note if there's anything that seems unclear to us, try to remember any issues that might have arisen in the past year or so, and figure out what we need to address in further rules and regulations.
So our goal, am I correct, is to have rules and regulations filed with the town clerk so that when we have somebody apply for the demo delay and there's a process that they need to adhere to, that process basically is available via the town clerk too.
I think rules and regulations are added to the actual legislation in the town.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not 100% positive about that, and I need to check. But I think the idea would be that these kind of go in and expand the statute to resolve certain things.
Okay.
So the rules and regulations that we have now.
And no, don't we have rules and regulations that you wrote up?
Yeah. So what?
We have a process.
Where are they? Like what?
No.
They get sent within the process of the demo delay. So somebody applies for demolition, the building inspector sends it to us, and then we decide if it's architecturally. We choose to preferentially preserve it, and then we give them.
We give them
action plan and the rules and right. So the rules and regulations are supposed to be part of that. I thought.
I don't think.
And I thought that was then supposed to be filed with the town clerk just as backup in the case that people don't follow the process that those regulations are formally filed with the town clerk, so that then.
So is it filed with the town clerk? Do we know?
It is not now. No, there is not anything filed with the town clerk now. So. All
right, I'll put it on the shared Google Drive.
Yeah, all right, put it on that so that
we have something that we worked on. Yeah, I did a lot of work on that last year.
File that with the town clerk because it just it helps us enforce the process that people are supposed to follow. You know, just the different steps of things they sort of have to tick off on the list, if you will. That was my understanding. I could be wrong.
And it would reduce the amount of incremental communications, Rebecca, you had to send out about, oh, by the way, you need to do this next.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Pardon me, I'm just checking. I I think we're conflating our action plan, which had some additional clarification in it, with actual regulations that have to be passed, possibly at town meeting. And I'm not sure which one of those things Aldo meant for us, well, recommended that we do. But if you look at the town code, I think there will be bylaws, and then there will be an additional supplemental rules and regulations that expand and clarify. And I think we need to figure out what he thinks we need and what do we think we need.
Okay.
Are the rules and regulations equally binding to if they're not part of the bylaw?
You see, I don't see how they, I don't see how they could have, I don't see how that could be. If we just vote on it as a commission, I don't see how it could be, but maybe.
I wonder if that's something that we could, like, could we in the next couple, month, 2 months or something, maybe Aldo would join us for a meeting and advise us?
I think that would be useful.
Yeah.
I think he'd be willing to do that and just tell us what we need to do. What is it specifically that we need to file with the town clerk? That kind of thing. I think town council opinion is always valuable.
And I should have looked into this in advance. I apologize. I've been a bit distracted.
That is perfectly acceptable. Perfectly.
Any other business that may come before the commission seems to be a good place for me to mention. We do need to set a time to tour the exterior of 15 Main, and then we will meet on August 18th for the public hearing.
August 18th. Yeah, I have that at 5:30. I have that's at 5:30.
Yes, because there's a Board of Selectmen meeting at 6:30.
Oh yeah, Tuesday, right? Okay, yeah.
But that was the date that the applicants felt was best for them.
Was available. Okay.
Is there anything else we need to discuss?
No. Do we need to set a date for the tour? It's not inside, right? We can't go inside.
Not inside, and I will have to contact the resident again and find out what times and what days work for her. And I guess the other question is,
usually we take pictures and stuff too.
And do we want to request some interior photos prior to the public hearing as well?
I think we should, because usually we take them ahead of the public hearing.
Yeah.
At least a couple that I've gone on. Yeah, when I've gone on the tour with, I think I did, maybe it was 22 Meadow. We took pictures inside and out. So whoever does go on the tour at minimum should take some exteriors, and perhaps we can request that the applicant provide us with some interior photos just because we can't get in.
Yeah.
Is there any guidance in a case like this particular one at 15 Main, where the letter I read indicated the building had been added onto at least twice, and it's now 3 times the original footprint roughly, and very much has evolved? Is there any guidance that we take into account about the approval or not, in light of the fact that the building no longer is original? Does that matter?
No, because almost all structures in New England of a certain age have been added onto and revised, and are very, very, very few will be the original footprint. And so it's part of the living history of the building, I guess. So in that respect, we don't exclude a building from being preferentially preserved because it has been altered.
Okay.
It depends somewhat on the extent of the alteration. If it's altered, beyond recognition, a lot of factors, but it's kind of how homes grow and have a history. Usually more family members come along, they add an L and they do, you know.
Right. I think the demo delay bylaw just says that we just need to determine if it should be preferentially preserved, and then we just ask the applicant to go through the process. We can certainly explain why, you know, not why we think, but why it is determined as preferentially preserved, you know, based on it being on the survey, the date of the home, and review a little bit of the history of it. But then the sort of ball is in their court as far as just going through the action plan, and that's it.
And we take into account not just the architectural significance, historical architectural significance, but the overall significance to the history of the town. And in this case, this building is very significant to the history of the town. So alterations are not, we would still have to take that into consideration.
We can talk more offline about the guidelines and if that's appropriate. I'm just looking for a way to help make a determination. Those are something that would be a little more specific rather than subjective about it.
Well, yes. However, I think yes, we can certainly discuss that. I think you know, there's a certain amount of, we all come together, we look at all these factors and we determine it. It's not like a cut and dry checklist, if that's what you're looking for. It's kind of, there is a certain amount of subjectivity, informed subjectivity, I would say. But yes. Yeah, and I think the important thing is that we kind of stick to a number of points that we're looking for when we're considering these things and be consistent and explain why.
Exactly, yeah.
All right. Anybody else have anything to add?
Nope.
All right, someone want to make a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
All right, roll call.
Kate Battles.
Yes.
Amanda Gleason.
Yes.
Yes.
Rebecca, yes. Okay. Adjourned at 7:02.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, bye guys. Good to see you all.
Thanks. Thanks, everyone.
Take care.
Take care.